Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We got FOMC happening right about now. Firstly, I do want to just say I apologize for earlier on. It was one of those situations. I had to quickly go and duck and come back, and I will put it, let me set the record straight. I did not shit myself. Where do you think that? I would have given at least a sign. You might have seen me go, I would have been groaning, or maybe turn to the left, turn to the right a little bit. And I would have been like, God, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry. And I would have said to you, oh man, my stomach's hurting me, man. That must have been some dodgy food from last night. I didn't even eat anything last night. So you know what the story is, but everything's all good. So I apologize for those little interruptions, but we're going to have ourselves another interruption very shortly. We got Powell speaking in the next few moments. 10 to 7, that's where we are right now. In 10 minutes' time, Powell is going to release or start that press conference. Actually, it's not even in 10 minutes' time. It's actually in 30 minutes' time, okay? And we're going to know about the Fed minutes, the federal funds rate, the projections, and all of that fun stuff. What's Bitcoin going to do? Are we going to see it move up? We're going to see it move down? Well, everyone has their opinion on what they think Bitcoin's going to do next. Do you think I care? No, I'm all about the movement, ladies and gents. But I will say this. If you manage to bank some money in today's movement, just take something, man. And I'm not trying to save you as such. I'm just trying to knock it in your minds like, take some money off the table and play the game again. It's all about the buy-ins, you know? The more buy-ins you have, the more you can play, the more you can expose yourself to opportunities in the marketplace, ladies and gentlemen. So we got to get ourselves set up. I'm going to quickly navigate the market, have a look at what Bitcoin is getting up to, what levels we could assume Bitcoin is going to try and take. We're going to dive into a little bit of dollar dominance because that's where it's at. We're going to have a look at the yields. Could the yields spike up? And remember, once the information is out, the market will start to act a little bit erratic. Okay, this is FOMC. This is going to dictate what happens over the next year. Okay, word on the street says that in November, they could be doing a live rate. That means they could increase it, decrease it live in November. That's going to create a lot of speculation. So we got lots to deal with. So get your headphones, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be diving into the charts right now. We're going to be listening to Powell speaking very shortly. But let's just break it all down and see what we can get from today's movement. All right, let's roll with it, guys. Okay, then, cool. So yes, thank you very much. Happy days. Welcome, everybody. I don't know what happened to the last little video I just did there, the live. It just wasn't working. I don't know why. But we're going to have the Fed talking very shortly, so I'm going to move that over to there. Let's quickly go over to the calendar to put things into perspective. All right, then, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. UK time, we're going to have the federal funds rate, okay? FOMC projections and the statement. Once all of this comes out, we're only going to anticipate the following. Data dependent, because that's what they're saying on the street, all right? We're also going to know the federal funds rate is going to be what it is. It's going to be 5.5%. Could you imagine if they'd done a drastic move and it went to like 5.75? 50 basis point increase right now. That will mess everyone up. They've got to take their time, all right? But it has been done. You only need to look back what happened with dollar Swiss back in the day when they announced an interest rate increase, but they actually changed the tone and they dropped it, and dollar Swiss tanked 300 pips on a Sunday night when the market opened. My gosh, that was a nice short. But more importantly, the press conference will be happening 30 minutes after. We're going to get Powell talking breeze and wind for a few moments, okay? So let's just use this time right now to really work out the levels that we've got with Bitcoin, okay? So firstly, let's go to BTC. What's Bitcoin done? Nothing. Stayed exactly where it needs to stay, okay? It's probed this range several times. We've eaten some liquidity inside of this zone. What we got to be careful of is this, okay? This now is an opportunity for the market to really flip the ranges, okay? What do I mean by range? Well, you need to look at it like this. Imagine you've got a range like so, and you've got price inside of here. Breakout traders, in principle, are going to be waiting for price to break one way or break the other. Okay, so they're going to be loading up positions, all right? Now, at this point in time, what we've got to consider is the following. How much value is actually being built in here, okay? And how much perceived value. So how many people are of the belief prices should be higher? How many people are in the belief prices should be lower? The perception of value is going to make life a little bit easier for you when you come to understand how assets move, okay? Right now, the story says that dollar dominance is king, and that's what they're saying, okay? They are effectively saying that dollar is the one, okay? Now, we go into euro and we say to ourselves, okay, then, what can we see from euro? Well, we can see something beautiful in euro. Perceived value in euro at the time down here was that it was undervalued, okay? Now, I shared a projection to the members of the channel, okay, the platinum guys. Those guys got the heads up. And this was euro, 19th of September, 4:15 in the morning. We shared this idea that euro was going to come back up and recover this vector candle region because value was coming in and suggesting that interest was coming in because they had understood that euro was very undervalued at this point in time. The green vector candles were starting to give us the idea that value wanted to be maintained in this zone. There's initially a reaction to that. We look left and we see where there was a previous vector of traders placing their shorts, where market maker went long because he was able to grab the interest of value at this low. See a little W formation, yippee-ki-yay to the upside, 1.07293 projection, complete with a little bit of love as well. Okay? This is how we project out price. We take market makers' behavior, we take the idea of vectors, we take the idea of value, and we put it into the charts. This is why you've got to say to yourself, with Bitcoin, where's people's heads at with Bitcoin? So going back into the idea of traders in a range, people are looking for a physical breakout right here. Now, there's other ways that you can work out what the interest is like inside of here. You can look at things like exo charts, for example, and you can say, where's the perceived value right now? Well, Bitcoin is trading right now at this point at the value area high. Now, if I just put things into perspective on the value zones. Value is actually down at 26,177, which is the VWAP over the 25 days. But true value is right here in Bitcoin, okay? Look at this grayed off area. True value is in this zone. That zone starts from the biggest one right there, which will be 25,899, going all the way down to around about 25,649. That's where value resonates. And that is quite far down in the chart, okay? Just because value's there, does it mean that price is going to go there? Well, we don't know what's going to happen until the news comes out. If they say one word that is not going to be liked by the marketplace, then the market is initially going to drop, okay? But what if it actually does drop, okay? That's good news, because as long as Bitcoin doesn't break a significant area, we haven't had a test of the psychological ranges this week. That's very interesting. All we've done is moved away aggressively from them. One attempt to test the psychological range has come here, okay? Now, what you've got to be mindful of is the following. What if they initiate a trap and bring it down to bring it back up? Because when the news comes out, we will never see it. We will never know. But there are certain algorithms at play that are going to process orders at speed because that anticipation of the news coming out, there are lots of traders placing limit orders above and below certain zones like this, where the market will initially make the reaction, come back into it, and then initiate the follow through to the upside, okay? Or to the downside. It's all going to be set on the tone that Powell is going to come with. And what we're going to see very shortly is the statement, the projections, and of course, the funds rate. I don't think the funds rate is going to be any different, all right? In the next 3-4 minutes, we're going to know the fund rates. And you're going to start seeing price action getting a little bit busy. And as I said just now, this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking to see if there's going to be a heads up. Is something going to come into the charts at speed, which could give us a clue that things might be moving in a certain direction. Go to the high block for a second and look at this. We've got an effect, in essence, an even distribution of shorts and longs. We've got 441 long liquidations, 441 long liquidations and 421 short liquidations. And these are liquidations that are currently high margin, okay? So 25x traders are putting up more cash to open shorts. Same down here with the pink areas. 25x traders putting more cash to use leverage as such, okay? Well, not to use so much leverage, all right? It's in a balance. Now, what you're waiting for is the reaction. Once you get the reaction, ladies and gentlemen, no different to this vector candle play right here. V-shaped drop, come back up. In my opinion, what I always encourage people to do is to wait until the news comes out. You might be these adrenaline guys that just want that activity. You know, you think, F it, you know what, I'm going for it, $100, 100x, happy days on Bitcoin, I make a couple of grand happy days, or I'm going to lose $100, whatever, okay? Cool, that's like, you know, you're just playing a gamble there. That's the truth of the matter, right? But the way you calculate your risk, rather than going into a situation where you are exposed to huge volatility, wait till the volatility has happened, because they have to bring it back to the norm. They can't allow price to drop significantly for a long time. There will always be a retrace back up. And then if they continue with the narrative lower, then happy days. You're going to see the trend happening. All right? So keep that in mind when you're trading. I mean, how many of you are in positions that are comfortable? Did anyone take any longs from 25K? I asked you earlier on, but the live went all messed up. So how many of you are in positions in around the 25, 26 zone? I'd like to know that, because then I can give you guys the logic of how to protect your capital if we do get the volatility. Where you at? Do TA on adamantium and vibra? Yeah, we could do something like that. How many of you are on that? Okay. It's all about the vectors. Thad, how you doing, bro? Yep. This is it. Pull me out, Tino. Why am I going to pull you out? Yes, good news. I'm underwater. Ugh. Okay. So 15 is the bottom. Where's the retest? Well, we're going to wait and see for that. Here we go. 25,850. We've got the news coming out very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just get into it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Here we go. Let me get bookmap up. We're going to see that volatility coming in a split second. Here we go. Here we go. We're starting to see some activity now. The bookmap right now has got 1,397 Bitcoin orders at 27.8. Let's see how they react to this information. Here we go. 26 short on oil. Okay, long from 25. That's good news. Here we go. So the market is going to open, not the market, but they're going to declare the projections and the statement and the funds rate in a split second. We're going to see some activity. I'm not seeing any orders being cancelled just yet. You can see Bitcoin on the top side right there. Let me just move this over to here. And then that way you guys can catch it. Here we go. So they're at the VWAP right now on Bitcoin on the 36-hour VWAP for anybody that wants to know that. I'm not seeing anything yet. I'm not seeing no contracts being cancelled. Look, 1,397 Bitcoin orders are staying static in the chart. 27.8 could be that move if they all come out. So here we go. Here's the move right now. We should be doing it. Should be making the move. It's going to happen quick. But we ain't going to see the bulk of it until Powell speaks. They might not even do anything. There's that possibility. Bitcoin has froze, not doing anything just yet. Let's wait and see what they're going to do. What are they going to do? I need to zoom in a little bit. That liquidity's gone up now, 1,403 Bitcoin orders. And it's red as well. So someone wants to get a sell order filled from that point. They think they're going to try and capitalize on the volatility. So hopefully if we do see it, then bang, they snap up, come back down. And then we got 1,250 Bitcoin at 26,000. So these two ranges right here are very important for us. Bitcoin's froze. Bitcoin ain't moving. Here we go. Come on. Still not doing anything. I hate it, man. Hate it when it does this. It freezes. How can Bitcoin freeze just like that? They're loading up. 440 again. Placing orders. 26 has gone down to 1213. Here we go. Here we go. Bitcoin not doing anything yet. No orders. Lots of sell. Big sell coming in down there at 26.7. They're adding to the sell orders at the top side right there. Big limit order, sorry, got cancelled. Come on, Bitcoin. Make the move. We've got 4. They're not adding to this 27,800 zone. They're not adding to it yet. If I see them, they're adding to 28 though. So sell orders are coming in for Bitcoin to 28 and 27,800. Very small move. Here we go. Nothing. Right? Is it going to do it? They're building up. Okay, so look down below here. We've got limit buys coming in. So the buyers, in principle, limit buyers are going to try and protect this zone. Remember what we said about value earlier on. Okay? Where's the true value? It's not doing anything. It's not doing the move. Here we go. We got the move right now. Where's dollar dominance? Dollar shooting up, ladies and gents. It's going up, but be careful with dollar. We know what dollar's like. So Bitcoin's now starting to roll over. Here we go. I'm hoping that they hold out because there's 12.3. 1,234 Bitcoiners at 26K. And we still don't actually have the move. And it's not gone anywhere just yet. Just let's not get all hyped up. It's not gone anywhere. We're still at that 27 zone. Here we go. Now we're going to start seeing a bit of movement. Are they going to do actually, are they going to say anything? Here we go. Come back down again. Go into the 5-minute time frame. We've got any vectors coming in. This is what we'd see a stop in volume candle. Should be a stop in volume candle right now. Yep, stop in volume candle right there. That's fine. Okay. I'll mark that over there. So we're good. You can see that in the charts. Daily open has been rejected. Got the 800 EMA. I would be comfortable Bitcoin spiking a bit lower to come back up. But if they're finished with this manipulation right here, then cool. What's the article actually saying? What are they actually saying? Press conference. Some of the projections. Okay, someone's put something. Here we go. Leaves it unchanged at 5.5. Okay, then cool. So we know that. So we need to know if they're going to hold. We need to know if they're going to hold interest rates. Now, Bitcoin's starting to go. 26,000, still got that liquidity down at 1,290 Bitcoin orders. 1,398 Bitcoin orders at 27,800. 812 at 28,000. So I'm waiting to see if they can actually go back up and break that zone. Going to the smaller time frames themselves, we've got the green vectors coming in. Is that green vector? Yeah, that should be a green vector. Recover that vector zone. Come on. There we go. Green vector candle right there. Happy days. And now we're going to assume if they can hold this vector, then we're going to see price going up. But there's a big sell-off at the daily open. So that could be setting the tone. Go to the 5-minute chart. We got the haven't had the breakdown. So that could be a good sign for Bitcoin. We've got the imbalance happening over here. But remember, Powell hasn't spoken just yet. So we're going to anticipate that we've still got more volatility coming in. Let me just go to another asset to have a look at where we are with the gold. Gold, where you at? Gold? Good night, gold. Hopefully it can come back up. NASDAQ? Ugh. Coming back down, coming towards our zones, 1523. Okay, S&P. S&P ain't happy with that. Hopefully projections say it louder. No. No. What the fuck's going on there? Ladies and gentlemen, the government has to service 5.1% return on a 2-year. That's not right. There's a problem. But that means bonds are getting a little bit cheaper. So at any point, the yields could reverse if bonds are cheap enough. But they're not cheap enough yet. I don't think. Down here, look at this gap. We've got a problem there. Those yields are taking a smack. Tesla, going to fill this gap or not? Not yet, but it's pulling back ever so slightly. Bitcoin, where you at? Come on. That is not good with the yields. Not good whatsoever. 12.35 still on those orders. They're still holding out. They're waiting for Powell to speak, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go and have a look at some altcoins right now. Let's have a look at the liquidity coming in on altcoins for a split second. They're waiting for Powell to speak, which is what I'm exactly waiting for right now. Here we go. Light volume. Nothing much is happening. Right, Bitcoin in the middle right there. No altcoins are actually doing anything other than Bitcoin Cash, this AP13 Bitcoin Cash, Cyber. Let's just go have a look at XRP for a split second. Here we go. XRP, what we got? Holding out fantastically. Like, this is good news for XRP, unless they decide to move it afterwards, because NASDAQ and S&P means money's coming out. We just got to be careful. Wait there for a second. Bring up XO charts to put things into perspective. Where we at? Point of control at 25,800 on the last 25 days of Bitcoin's price action. Let me just load it up again. Where we at? 26.7, 26.8. Am I seeing anything coming in the profile? All right, so I'm seeing it coming back down. It's spiked up. We're building a bit of a profile right here in this chart. This is XO chart where we're looking at order flow. I'm really interested in NASDAQ, to be honest with you, how NASDAQ is faring across the board. Not with that chart. Let me remove this bad boy. Wait for it to reload. What the hell? We're not getting the movement just yet. They're waiting for Powell to speak, and that's the fact. And this is what we've got to be watching, guys. Here we go. Bring this up. Here we are. All right, then. So here it is. What have we got? So NASDAQ's taken a bit of a tumble down here. Just need to look closely. We've got a little bit of an exhaustion down there. No one's buying up. They need to reverse it back up again. Some imbalances are coming in. Delta's minus 8%. Not really that big. I'm not too concerned about that. But NASDAQ has got a lot of liquidity down here to come and attack. And Powell hasn't even started speaking yet. So that's going to be very interesting for us to check out later on. Bitcoin is still holding out in this zone. Lots of contracts coming in on the profile. But we've got nothing up here. It's going to take a lot for them to come and attack that zone up there. And some news needs to come out to be favorable for the marketplace. Euro taking a shoe back to the downside. Dollar yen on its way. Despicable. Please tell me the Japanese yen is doing okay. Guys, are you guys following me right now? Japanese yen needs to be closing that gap. If yen closes that gap, dollar's going up, assets against the dollar are going down. We've got to understand value. The yen is overvalued at this current point right now in the chart. Okay? It doesn't serve them to have a strong yen because it hurts trade. Hard enough knowing that Japan and China themselves, they're struggling right now in the economy. They're not the powers that be anymore. It's hurting their economy. And the fact is, all the investors in Japan and China are coming to the US. Why? Because we got things like this. Look at this shit here, man. 2 years. Ladies and gentlemen, if any of you have £1 million, you give it to the government, you're getting 5% back. 5.12% back on a 2-year. Happy days. Not bad for the US government that's broke. That's the truth. It's the truth. Raising the debt ceiling. They're going to be knocking on the doors very soon about how they're going to service those loans. 38.5 trillion dollars? Come on, man. Where's the US debt clock? US debt clock. Where are we at? Here we go. There it is. US debt clock. What have we got right now? Oh, it's actually gone down. The national debt's $33 trillion. But let's look at the money supply. The money supply is dropping aggressively. This figure right here, if you can see it, right there. US2 M2 money supply. The lower that goes, okay, the harder it is for money to be circulated in principle. That's why they're increasing the interest rates. That's why we're banging on all day about these interest rates and why it's important for them to start rolling over. But they think that this is the peak, and we're only going to know if Powell does declare that, which we are going to be tuning into very, very shortly. How many of you in the live stream? 1,400 of you. Mad love and respect to everyone passing through. I want to apologize again for earlier on, how I killed the flow right there. But we're going to be understanding what can happen when Powell actually starts the conversation. Now, I'm going to dive into a few altcoins. Okay, so earlier on, the live stream earlier on, was talking about how to manage your altcoins in terms of above and below 50 EMA moving averages. Okay, so let's just go and have a look at Solana for a second. Okay, notice how Solana is holding up inside of this zone. Okay, that means most of the altcoins in the environment for in terms of the total crypto market cap on just for altcoins, sorry, we know Solana's doing well by holding away from this zone. All right, we go back into the traders totals and we can see that they're coming away from that 50 EMA. Remember what we said? Altcoins that are above, excuse me, bro. Altcoins that are above the 50 EMA, they'll be retracing back into the 5 and 13. Then once everyone else's altcoin starts moving up, then we're going to see those altcoins above the 5 and 13 EMA continue with the move up. Okay, so let's just go and find some more altcoins. I've got a little bit of an altcoins list itself. Who's the winner right now? SXP is the winner right now on my charts, on my altcoins list. And what we got here? We got a nice little drop down, vector candle recovery, green vector right there. I believe so. Yes, it is. Come on, make it happen. Where is this chart, man? Give it a sec. Should be coming. Maybe not. I don't know why it does this. Maybe because I haven't switched off my computer all day. Well, this is a green vector candle, a couple of green vector candles inside of this range right here. And they do the pump. There you go. Green vector candles pushing price up. And now they've rolled it all the way back down, load up, and they've left the clues behind as to what they could be doing, right? So now they're coming back up. You see this area here? That area there is a clue. There's loading up. Could this be early adopters? Guys stepping in again, taking advantage of lower prices to try and shift it out even higher. If the narrative changes, then awesome. Everything moves back up. Okay, so we'll be looking for that. The only way you invalidate that is if they break beyond this structure of 26 cents. That's it. Simple as. Let's have a look at some other things here. Here we go. Aave. All right, so Aave's doing very well. Don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's irrelevant. We've got the range daily high. This area is consistent with reversal, so just be mindful. It is an altcoin, so it will move a little bit more aggressive. Just factor in the idea of the average weekly range. That's where reversals usually tend to appear. Okay, and you can't just use these areas right here to assume, okay, that that's where the reversal is. It just says, based on the week or the last 4 weeks, that's the highest range for this week that this could actually get to and reverse from. So you got to factor in so many other things, like, what's going on macroeconomically speaking, what's going on in crypto, who's been arrested, what's going on in crypto, is there a whale selling or doing something, all right? You got to factor that in. If price is close towards it, quick scalps, happy days, ladies and gentlemen, you are laughing, okay? Let's quickly go back into another coin, Trias. Moving down a little bit, I'd like to see the test, retrace, rise, retrace, continuation. I know a gentleman coming into those EMAs right there. Look at that. That's a perfect zone of value. Where's value? Think of value right now. Do people believe this is cheap now? Yes, they do. Well, they've built their positions. Now people are going to be fighting the idea of it and then effectively try and come back in. Sharp move up, retrace, make the traders think it's going lower, initiate the reversal, little W formation, shift out to the upside. Happy days. And it can be as deep as that. Look, you can even go as deep as that and then shift out to the upside because there's a huge imbalance in the chart. Now, of course, something drastic would have to happen to collapse this to the downside. But again, look at where it is. It's gone way beyond this low average weekly range. It's been hit so badly, okay? So just be careful with that. We're expecting a retrace back up. Beta, what you got? Holding out. This is important. If they're holding it out like so, all right, then it's going to take a lot to actually move this altcoin down. But there is an imbalance, so just be careful, all right? They can smack down and move back up again. It's an altcoin, and they show that flavor throughout the chart. So just be mindful of that, okay? Someone asked me for quant. Let's have a look at this. Quant, here we go. So what have we got quant right now? Let's just have a look. Where are we at? Holding out on the psychological low. Now listen, this is an important thing, okay? Now if you are new to the channel, you haven't done so, and I'm saying things that you might not be familiar with, go to the Traders Reality website, and there is a free course on there that tells you everything you need to know about the things and the terms that I'm using. Okay, psychological low, the volumes, the moving averages, the patterns, the structures, you name it, okay? Get to the Traders Reality website. It's free. Become a bronze member and you can get access to this free course. If you want to learn more about the course, then of course you check out the sweet science of scalping. That's what this course is all about. Scalping course for anybody that just wants to make quick gains, understanding structures like this. All about how to capitalize moves from these zones. Now, looking at quant right now, you can see that they're holding at the psychological ranges. This is important because if they hold at these psychological points and reverse from them, we anticipate them to repeat the same thing because the market has a good memory. Okay? Now, quickly, let me just go into another coin. Let's see who's taken a slap across the face. Gala's been smacked. Okay? This is an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Look. I don't look for, and most of the time, a lot of retail traders will look for the stocks or the assets that are moving up because they think it's going to continue. You don't want to be looking for a stock that's doing this or a cryptocurrency that's moving up like this, parabolic style. You don't want that. You want to make sure that it's moved up, but at least corrected, okay? Because then the correction right there is going to tell you if they are preparing to move back up again because you've got a resistance point right here, which is an area of value where it was exhausted. People were like, yeah, buy. But market maker had his orders filled and he reversed it back down because he trapped the liquidity inside of that zone. Okay? It's in here where counterintuitively, retail trader doesn't buy in this point. Okay? He doesn't. He sells at this point. So market maker can get orders filled in that area. Think about it like that. It's low in value. People see it's going to go down in value. And that's where they reverse to try and effectively come back up. Okay? Keep that in your mind. Look at Gala right now. It's taken a smack to the downside. Why has it done it at this point? What is it about this zone? Value. They think it's undervalued right now. It's been getting smacked. And where in the chart do you see an aggressive move? And every time you see an aggressive move, what usually happens after? An aggressive move. Look, an aggressive move down. It reverses. Takes a little time, but the markings of the vectors were there. Okay? Leaving us clues as to where they could actually end up. Bang, red vector candle. Another red vector candle right there. Another vector candle inside of that zone. Happy days. Now we're seeing the same thing again. We can put a scope on Gala. We've got a vector candle zone right here. Cool. We've got a vector candle zone over here at the daily open. Might take a lot for it to actually pump up, and a lot of liquidity would need to come in to suggest Gala to move up. But if you're looking for a quick flip, that's on the 15-minute time frame. Go to the 5-minute chart. You can see we're looking at potentially V-shaped plays coming into action right now. All right? That could be a possibility. And you know what? You're only going to know if the V-shaped play is going to come into play if you take the bloody trade. That's the truth. There's nothing more you can do. If you know how much you're going to lose, then what have you got to lose taking the trade? If you know that your risk says that if you're going to run it along from this point, hypothetically, okay, and you believe prices are going to go up from this point, do you know where you're going to lose money? You should know before you even take the trade. That's what you need to be focusing on. So you then say to yourself, okay, I'm going to try and run along from this area, hypothetically, not financial advice, common sense about where you're going to put your risk. Place it outside the structure. If you're happy to lose the amount of money at that point, done. If it hits it, next trade. Welcome. That's the name of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, there's no guarantees in this game. I'm not going to bullshit you either. This is how the game works. You got a belief? Take the trade. Simple. And the more you simplify trading and the more you come away from exposing yourself to emotions in this game, by placing a trade and not knowing when to get out or knowing how much money you're prepared to lose, what's going to happen? You're just going to lose more. You're going to be that guy that says, I've got a stop loss here. Let me add a little bit more. Darling, can you just sell the dog? I need that $700 for margin. All right, cool. You move it down a little bit more. There you go. I've sold the dog. I've now moved my stop. The second you move your stop, you need to kill the trade because that's an alarm bell. The only time you move your stop is if you've got yourself profit, okay, and you move it to lock it in. That's the only time you move your stop, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it works. You can even buy robots that do that EA trailing stop for you, make life easier for you so you don't have to do nothing. All you need to do is come to the chart and say, I'm happy to lose $100 on this trade. Cool. The robot says, okay, I got your back, bro. You take the trade. You apply these concepts. And then happy days. You let it run. Next, give me another coin. What we got? Theta's taken a bit of a beating. I don't like the way that trades. Ava, don't like that. It's all going to be like that because it's on the 5-minute time frame. Forgive me. We go to the 15-minute time frame. I'm not going to pay attention to those anymore. I'm going to quickly go over to the stocks that are actually doing the flavor. We got Powell speaking very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. So Bitcoin Cash. Let me have a look at Bitcoin. Tino, what are you doing, bro? Bitcoin Cash. Here we go. USDT. All right, so Bitcoin Cash is starting to climb up. That means good old BTC could be making a little bit of a move. Here we go. So it's come back into the... let's go back into Bitcoin Cash. I'm not liking that. All right, okay. So Bitcoin Cash, what have we got? So it moves a little bit more flexible within Bitcoin. We've got the recovery back up towards the daily open. What I'm thinking of... Daily open has been tested nicely. I'd want to see them clear the 221 zone first because this area is consistent with stops. Only news will clear this range. All right. Otherwise, Bitcoin's probably going to be moving up and down. But remember, on Friday, guys, we've got options expiry. OK, so they might not even do nothing today. And there is that possibility. Powell is obviously going to let us know what his plans are. The statement has already told us exactly what they're going to be doing. And Powell's going to be diverting questions left, right, and center. In other words, we're going to be wasting our time listening to that old bugger talking about the economy that he spoke about last time when we did the FOMC. And we didn't even get anything from him. We were just interested in what the reporters were saying from all the other news articles. Like, fuck. I'm not even interested in what they have to say. USDT. So the psychological chart. All right. Remember, we saw this idea that if USDT keeps on going down, all right, and some people are like, Tino, talk about USDT. Guys, it's a psychological chart. It tells you when they're buying crypto and when they're not, okay? It tells you when they're feeling fearful and when they're greedy, all right? Right now, they are feeling optimistic, okay? Because USDT is starting to come down. We've got a vector counterpoint. These are turning points where initially reactions happen. So expect a reaction at 7.85%. All right, that's what we've got to be careful of. Quickly going into NASDAQ and S&P for a minute. I just need to understand what's going on there. NASDAQ is stalling. Maybe it has come down, but NASDAQ is stalling out ever so slightly. Okay, so we've got to wait and see if they're going to initiate a reversal. I need to see on EXO. Are we going to get that? It's not doing it. Come on. Because I haven't switched off my computer today, guys. This is what happens. I'm waiting for that to come up in a minute. Go to Bookmap. What's Bookmap saying? 1,402 Bitcoin orders at 27,800. 26,000. Still got 1,254 Bitcoin orders. Powell should be speaking very, very shortly. Let me just make sure that that is off. Yes, that is killed off right there. I'm not going to allow that to be playing. I'll press play on that aspect. Okay, guys, do you have any questions? I'm my own prostitute. I pay my... I need to be careful what I read in the comments, man. Why did I put that? And you know what? Yes, capitals do make you read things, man. All the comments that I could have read, and I chose that one. Never mind. Never mind. But I like your logic, my friend. Okay, then. So, Bitcoin, not really giving us any flavor right now because Powell's going to be talking. I'm anticipating Bitcoin. I want to see a fast move. This little move here is terrible for me. But like I said, the options market, that's going to be making things make a lot more sense, okay? So, Tino, could you look at BLZ? BLZ. USDT. Okay. Blue Zell. Okay. Consolidating. Higher time frames. Big imbalance. Ouch. This has been going up. Nice. It's been going up significantly. We got a violet vector candle coming into play. Look, this is classic. Look. High average weekly range. It's already a volatile asset. So I'm expecting reversals from this point to come down because it's holding out above the high average weekly range. It's taking a while to break down. So if they start selling off in Bitcoin, they're probably going to start selling off here. And this thing's going to drop down effectively. Okay? What coin guy's kind of lonely in this chat? Matic. Let's do Matic. Some guys want me to look at Matic. Okay. Here we go. Matic climbing up. Remember what I said about the altcoins? Trying to get above the 50 EMA. If this is already above the 50 EMA, happy days. Then they're going to continue above the 50 EMA. All right. So we've got that movement right there. They're holding out. And listen, if you are already in longs in Matic, what you need to be mindful of is this. Take the vector candles. Take the midpoints. I'll always teach you this. Take the midpoints and use them as support and resistance points. Okay. Take the top of the candlestick. Take the bottom of the candlestick, including the wick, and use them as support and resistance. There's reasons why they hold out in such a zone like this. There's no coincidence, all right? It's because we assume that perceived value at that point in time is when market makers said, you know what, I'm not done with this zone yet. We need to grab a few more traders in that area and shift it out to the upside. That would be a collection of vectors on the higher time frame. Go to the 1 hour chart. I'll look at gold in a split second for you. That should be a green vector candle, I'm hoping. No, it's not. But inside of it, there is a vector candle. So we marry that logic up into that zone. Take this red vector candle first. Here's an idea of support and resistance. Take that point, and it's now breaking over that resistance. So now we can assume that if they're going to take a profit on this, and they've been building longs in that zone, we're effectively going to see price working its way back up again on Matic. That's the logic, okay? Cool. Check gold. Let's go to gold for a second for my traders that want gold. Here we go. So gold is starting to come out. That projection worked out perfectly. Happy days to the members. If any of you guys did take those trades, I want to see if you did actually. Did we actually take it? So there was that one. We did this one, I think it was. Yes. There you go. There's that dollar dominance projection, the idea of it to come down, to come back up. We quickly go into dollar right now and just see that. How is that fair enough? Ever so slightly. Happy days. That's what we want. So they're working out the numbers, but they still haven't cleared out this 104 region just yet. Big vector candle coming in, suggesting support on the dollar, which means that euro's going to have a hard time in climbing, but Powell could say something. Gold is in essence starting to see the realization of hedge traders coming out. So they've effectively sold into their profits. They've recovered the red vector candle region up in that point right there. Happy days to that. And now we're expecting gold to try and come down a little bit, but the violet vector candle could be putting things into perspective. And we got Powell speaking very shortly, so I'm going to be getting the live set up for that, ladies and gentlemen. Tesla's come back up. Not bad. So NASDAQ could have been moved down to move back up. But oil is starting to come down, which is good news for us. We need oil to come down. If oil starts to move back up when Powell is speaking, that tells me investors are effectively going into oil because they're scared about what they're hearing. All right? So that's something that we need to take into consideration. All the heavyweights are the mixed, man. Look at Apple. It's taking a bit of a tumble. Can't even close that gap right there. Google's also taking a tumble as well. And Nvidia's also down. So Tesla, one way or another, is going to follow suit at some point. So just take advantage of any plays on Tesla that are favoring higher prices. Make sure you're taking money off the table because one way or another, Tesla's probably going to follow suit if the whole market is starting to sell off. Especially if Amazon, Meta, and Google and Apple are trading negative for the day. Even though they're tech stocks, they're all about the market cap. So keep that in mind. What we got? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Wi-Fi. Sorry if I'm missing out your coins, guys. We're going to have Powell speaking very short. I need to get that set up, guys. So let's get that sorted. Okay, Wi-Fi. Here we go. 5,356. Man. All right, then, cool. So what we've got here is rejections of the actual psychological high. Look, 800 EMA right there, clear resistance points, okay? Clear as day. They ain't getting above that point. No longs until they can clear this range. Why? Because then it would assume that the idea of value has been grabbed inside of this area. Look, there's a structure happening here, all right? Yes, we've got a vector candle wick, which is a problem for me. Do not ignore this wick, all right? But this is where they could, in essence, create a structure to finalize, build enough value to come back up because they've started bringing it all down to try and bring it back up again. That's how we understand value. All right? Cool. Let's get Bitcoin back up, guys. It's going to start talking very shortly. I'm going to bring 5-minute time frame. Let's see if Bitcoin's going to do anything over there. I'm going to bring this bad boy over. Could not play. And we'll see if they start making the party start right now. Okay, then. All right, then, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to bring Bitcoin's price closer, get some decent price action. I'm going to set it there. I'll look at link in a sec, guys. I just need to know if you guys can see that. Nice and easy. That should be fine. There we go. All right, then. 2 minutes time. Are we ready? Bricks just now. Bro, I'm not reading your comment, man. You're saying some funny things. Vectors and the color candles, red, blue, denotes MM moving the market liquidity. Yes, that's correct. David asked that question. Tino, this is nothing. It's going to clear the candle in both directions. $1,000, then it will move. Watch. Okay, then. Well, listen, whatever it does, you react afterwards. Because whilst everyone's rushing in, oh my God, Bitcoin's moved. Ah. You go in as a caretaker and just clean up. You step in when they're trying to work out what to do next. Because they're indecisive. If Bitcoin tanks, people are going to be rushing. They're going to be going, quick, short. That's when you're waiting. Let them realize that Bitcoin's going down. And you'll get Bitcoin sharply moved back up. You profit on that move back up. Don't look at Bitcoin dropping from 27 down to 21 or 23. Don't look at it like that. Look at Bitcoin going from 27 to 26,500 and then an instant reversal from that point. Capitalize on that. $200-$300 move. Happy days. Know your risk. Get out. Enough time to check Wing for a potential long. Let's see if this bad boy. I'll check that out in a second, my bro. Let me kill that. The last time they did that to me, they screwed me over. Let me see. It should be starting right now. And I'm going to be extending it out. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get yourselves ready because we're going to have a conversation and witness Bitcoin price action. I'm going to bring up the book map in the corner as well for anybody that wants to see that bad boy playing out. Move that way. Move him over here. Happy days. Bitcoin price action in the middle. Let's roll with the flavor, ladies and gents. Put these bad boys on. And then let's get this game sorted out. Come on. He's going to play. Should be doing it. Stop it, man. Taking absolutely forever. Okay. 42K incoming. If I want news, I'm here to find. Happy days. Thank you very much. Here we go. Clean up while they're distracted. This is it. This is the logic. Okay? You need some good trades to pay the Wi-Fi bill. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to tune into this bad boy right now. Let's listen and see what Powell has to say. I'm hoping he speaks a little louder this time. And he answers the questions. Why are you taking forever like that? Why are you doing that? Don't do that to me. Come on. Here we go. That was on their end. Can't be on my end because everything's pumping right now. Here we go. I'm going to move my head a little bit so you guys can see. Happy days. All right, then.
Good afternoon, everyone.
My guy,
My
what's
colleagues
good?
and I remain squarely focused on our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. We understand the hardship that high inflation is minimum employment and stable prices for the American people. We understand the hardship that high inflation is the responsibility of the Federal Reserve. Without price stability, the economy does not work for anyone. In particular, without price stability, we will not achieve a sustained period of strong labor market conditions that benefit all. Since early last year, the FOMC has significantly tightened the stance of monetary policy. We've raised our policy interest rate by 5.25 percentage points and have continued to reduce our securities holdings at a brisk pace. We've covered a lot of ground, and the full effects of our tightening have yet to be felt. Today, we decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged and to continue to reduce our securities holdings. Looking ahead, we're in a position to proceed carefully in determining the extent of additional policy firming that may be appropriate. Our decisions will be based on our ongoing assessments of the incoming data and the evolving outlook and risks. I will have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments.
Okay, here we go.
Recent indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace. And so far this year, growth in real GDP has come in above expectations. Recent readings on consumer spending have been particularly robust. Activity in the housing sector has picked up somewhat, though it remains well below levels of a year ago, largely reflecting higher mortgage rates. Higher interest rates also appear to be weighing on business fixed investment. In our Summary of Economic Projections, or SEP, committee participants revised up their assessments of real GDP growth, with the median for this year now at 2.1%. Participants expect growth to cool, with the median projection falling to 1.5% next year. The labor market remains tight, but supply and demand conditions continue to come into better balance. Over the past 3 months, payroll job gains averaged 150,000 jobs per month, a strong pace that is nevertheless well below that seen earlier in the year. The unemployment rate ticked up in August, but remains low at 3.8%. The labor force participation rate has moved up since late last year, particularly for individuals aged 25 to 54 years. Nominal wage growth has shown some signs of easing, and job vacancies have declined so far this year. Although the jobs to workers gap has narrowed, labor demand still exceeds the supply of available workers. FOMC participants expect the rebalancing in the labor market to continue, easing upward pressures on inflation.
Here we go.
The median unemployment rate projection in the SEP rises from 3.8% at the end of this year to 4.1% over the next 2 years.
Big cells getting filled.
Inflation remains well above our longer run goal of 2%. Other data, we estimate above our longer run goal of 2%. Other data, we estimate ending in August.
Dude, what the hell's going on?
Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 3.9%.
He's synthetic. Finished.
Inflation has moderated somewhat since the middle of last year, and longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored, as reflected in a broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters, as well as measures from financial markets.
Come on, boy.
Nevertheless, the process of getting inflation sustainably down to 2% has a long way to go. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation is 3.3% this year, falls to 2.5% next year, and reaches 2% in 2026. The Fed's monetary policy actions are guided by our mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship as it erodes purchasing power, especially for those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials like food, housing, and transportation. We are highly attentive to the risks that high inflation poses to both sides of our mandate, and we are strongly committed to returning inflation to our 2% objective.
Sorry.
As I noted earlier, since early last year, we have raised our policy rate by 5.25 percentage points. We see the current stance of monetary policy as restrictive, putting downward pressure on economic activity, hiring, and inflation.
He is
In
boring.
addition, the economy is facing headwinds from tighter credit conditions for households and businesses
Here we go.
at 5.25% to 5.5%, and to continue the process of significantly reducing our securities holdings. We are committed to achieving and sustaining a stance of monetary policy that is sufficiently restrictive to bring inflation down to our 2% goal over time.
They want it.
In our SEP, FOMC participants wrote down their individual assessments of an appropriate path for the federal funds rate based on what each participant judges to be the most likely scenario going forward. If the economy evolves as projected, the median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 5.6% at the end of this year, 5.1% at the end of 2024, and 3.9% at the end of 2025.
Okay.
Compared with our June summary of economic projections, the median projection is unrevised for the end of this year, but has moved up by a 0.5 percentage point at the end of the next 2 years. These projections, of course, are not a committee's decision or plan. If the economy does not evolve as projected, the path of policy will adjust as appropriate to foster our maximum employment and price stability goals. We will continue to make our decisions meeting by meeting based on the totality of the incoming data and their implications for the outlook for economic activity and inflation, as well as the balance of risks. Given how far we have come, we are in a position to proceed carefully as we assess the incoming data and the evolving outlook and risks. Real interest rates now are well above mainstream estimates of the neutral policy rate, but we are mindful of the inherent uncertainties in precisely gauging the stance of policy. We're prepared to raise rates further if appropriate, and we intend to hold policy at a restrictive level until we're confident that inflation is moving down sustainably toward our objective. In determining the extent of additional policy firming that may be appropriate to return inflation to 2% over time, the committee will take into account the cumulative tightening of monetary policy, the lags with which monetary policy affects economic activity and inflation.
You're lagging, bro.
And financial developments.
What the hell's going
We
on
remain
here?
committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal and to keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored.
This is not good, man. This is not good.
Inflation back down to our 2% goal and to keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Restoring price stability is essential to set the stage for achieving maximum employment and stable prices over the longer run. To conclude, we understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country.
Is that recovery?
Everything we do is in service to our public mission. We at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
No, you do not, bro. He is not looking forward to these questions. Data dependent, 2%, same story.
Colby Smith with the Financial Times.
Here we go.
What makes the committee inclined to think that the Fed funds rate at this level is not yet sufficiently restrictive, especially when officials are forecasting a slightly more benign inflation outlook for this year? There's noted uncertainty about policy lags. Headwinds have emerged from
No pivot.
the looming government shutdown, the end of federal childcare funding, resumption of student debt payments, things of that nature.
So I guess I would characterize the situation a little bit differently. So we decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate where it is at 5.25% to 5.5%, while continuing to reduce our securities holdings.
Limit buys.
We say we're committed to achieving and sustaining a stance of monetary policy that's sufficiently restrictive to bring down inflation to 2% over time. We said that.
Cancelled.
But the fact that we decided to maintain the policy rate at this meeting doesn't mean that we've decided that we have or have not at this time reached that stance of monetary policy that we're seeking. If you looked at the SEP, as you obviously will have done, you will see that a majority of participants
SEP,
believe that
you
it's
know.
more likely than not that it will be appropriate for us to raise rates one more time in the 2 remaining meetings this year. Others believe that we have already reached that. So it's something where we're not making a decision by deciding to about that question by deciding to just maintain the rate and await further data.
So right now, it's still an open question about sufficiently restrictive. You're not saying today that we've reached this level.
We're not
Come on,
saying-
say it.
No, no, clearly what we decided to do is maintain the policy rate and await further data. We want to see convincing evidence, really, that we have reached the appropriate level, and you know, we're seeing progress, and we welcome that. But, you know, we need to see more progress before we'll be willing to reach that conclusion.
He's
And just on
trying
the
so hard
2024
not to
projection,
answer that
what's behind
question.
that shallower path for interest rate cuts and the need for real rates to be 50 basis points higher.
Right, so I would say it this way. First of all,
Come on, bro.
interest rates, real interest rates are positive now. They're meaningfully positive.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. We need policy to be restrictive so that we can get inflation down to target, okay? And we're going to need that to remain to be the case for some time. So I think, you know, remember that of course, the SEP is not a plan that is negotiated or discussed really as a plan. It's accumulation, really, and what you see are the medians. It's accumulation of individual forecasts from 19 people, and then what you're seeing are the medians. So I wouldn't want to, you know, bestow upon it the idea that it's really a plan. But what it reflects, though, is that economic activity has been stronger than we expected, stronger than I think everyone expected. And so what you're seeing is this is what people believe as of now will be appropriate to achieve what we're looking to achieve, which is progress toward our inflation goal, as you see in the SEP.
Thanks. Let's go to Rachel.
Not good. Bit of
Hi,
snap down, so
Rachel Siegel from the Washington Post. Thanks. For
Washington
taking our
Post,
questions.
okay.
How would you characterize the debate around another hike or holding steady? Is it discussion around lag times, fear of too much slowing, too little slowing? Could you walk us through what this disagreement was about?
Remember, the
And-
balance sheet has been significantly reduced.
Yeah, so the proposal at the meeting was to maintain our current policy stance. And I think there was obviously unanimous support for that. But this, of course, is an SEP meeting, and so people write down what they think. And you have some, you saw, I think 7 wrote down no hike at this meeting, or between now and the end of the year, and I think 12 wrote down another single hike in one of the next 2 meetings that we have between the end of the year. So it wasn't like we were arguing over that. People just stating their positions. And really what people are saying is, let's see how the data come in. You know, we want to see, you know what we want to see. We want to see that these good inflation readings that we've been seeing for the last 3 months, we want to see that it's more than just 3 months, right? We want to see, you know, the labor market report that we received, the last one that we received, was a good example of what we do want to see. It was a combination of across a broad range of indicators, continuing rebalancing of the labor market. So those are the 2 things. Those are our 2 mandate variables, and that's the progress that we want to see. But I think people, they want to be convinced, you know, they want to be careful not to jump to a conclusion really one way or the other, but just be convinced that the data, you know, support that conclusion. And that's why, given how far we've come and how quickly we've come, we're actually in a position to be able to proceed carefully as we assess the incoming data and the evolving outlooks and risks and make these decisions meeting by meeting.
I see. And in your view, I know nothing has been decided yet, but what would one more hike at the end of the year do to the economy or to inflation? And on the other side, what would no
Nice
hike do, if
question.
you could sort of game that out for us?
Come on.
So, you know, you can make the argument that one hike one way or the other won't matter, but for us, we're trying,
This is
obviously
it.
as a group, it's a pretty tight cluster of where we think that policy stance might be, but we're always going to be learning from data. You know, we've learned all through the course of the last year that actually we needed to go further than we had thought. If you go back a year and what we wrote down, it's actually gotten higher and higher. So we don't really know and that's why, again, we're in a position to proceed carefully at this point. A year ago, we proceeded pretty quickly to get rates up. Now we're fairly close, we think, to where we need to get. It's just a question of reaching the right stance. I wouldn't attribute huge importance to one hike in macroeconomic terms. Nonetheless,
Here we go.
you know, we need
One
to
more
get,
question.
to a place where we're confident that we have a stance that will bring inflation down to 2% over time. That's what we need to get to, and we've been moving toward it. As we've gotten closer to it, we've slowed the pace at which we've moved. I think that was appropriate, And now that we're getting closer, again, we have the ability to proceed carefully.
Getting closer. No factor to oil's price.
Steve
Not
Leach,
mentioning
CNBC.
anything.
Sir, I want to return to Colby's question here. What is it saying about the committee's view of the inflation dynamic in the economy that you achieve the same forecast inflation rate for next year, but need another 0.5 point of the funds rate on it? Does it tell you that? Does it tell us that the committee believes inflation to be more persistent, requires more medicine effectively? And I guess a related question is, if you're going to project a funds rate above the longer run rate for 4 years in a row, at what point do we start to think, hey, maybe the longer rate or the neutral rate is actually higher? Thank you.
So I guess I would point more to, rather than pointing to a sense of inflation having become more persistent, I wouldn't think that's not, we've seen inflation be more persistent over the course of the past year, but I wouldn't say that's something that's appeared in the recent data. It's more about stronger economic activity, I would say. So if I had to attribute one thing, again, we're picking medians here and trying to attribute one explanation, but I think broadly, stronger economic activity means rates, we have to do more with rates, and that's what that meaning is telling you. In terms of what the neutral rate can be, you know, we know it by its works. We only
This glitchy business, man, with the Fed. I'm going to do it next time through YouTube, but we're getting the idea of what's going on, you know? It's data dependent again. We've seen volatility. NASDAQ's moved down. We know what they're going to be talking about. 2% mandate, cool.
rates,
Interest
we have
rate
to do more with
increases.
rates.
Sorry.
And that's what that meaning is telling you. In terms of what the neutral rate can be, you know, we know it by its works. We own of the neutral rate, and it's certainly plausible that the neutral rate is higher than the longer run rate. Remember, what we write down in the SEP is the longer run rate. It is certainly possible that you know that the neutral rate at this moment is higher than that, and that's part of the explanation for why the economy has been more resilient than expected.
Let's go to Howard.
All right, let's see this one, who it is.
Howard Schneider with Reuters. Thank you.
Reuters,
You've
okay.
said several times that the economy needed a period of below-trend growth to get inflation consistently back to 2%. You kind of get that in 2024, a little bit. 1.5% is just a touch below what's the estimate of potential. So the fact that you're getting so much done at so much less cost, does that represent a change in how you think inflation works, a change in how you think the economy works, a change in the mix of supply healing versus demand destruction that's necessary to achieve this?
Yes, of course. It is a good thing that we've seen now meaningful rebalancing in the labor market, as we're seeing that rebalancing in other places.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it seems as though that there's a little bit of a
In, for
delay
example,
with
job
Powell.
openings and in the jobs worker gap. You're also seeing supply side things. So that's happening. I would say, though, I see through more supply, as we've seen as well. Also, remember, the natural rate, we think, is coming down,
Yeah, I don't understand why this thing is glitching out.
which is a supply side thing, so that the gap between any given unemployment rate that's low supply, that's a way for the labor market to achieve.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to sack that off, okay? He ain't actually given me any flavor whatsoever, all right? None of the questions. We know the deal, okay? So let's get into the charts and have a look at exactly what's going on. Quickly have a look at the news on how they're reacting to it all. Okay, let's quickly click up this bad boy over here. It's plausible that the neutral high rate is, here we go. So maybe neutral rate. Powell median of neutral rate estimate hasn't risen. Okay, so this is stuff that they said just a few moments ago. Okay then. All right, look. So this is the story. Here we go. 5-minute time frame. Of course, when he finishes speaking, all right, someone could ask a question which will make him try and answer it. He's not going to give us nothing. All right? 2% is what they're looking for. Finished. All right? So now what we need to do, we need to go into the dollar. And we need to understand where we are with that bad boy. How are investors taking that right now? All right? So this is what you got to think about. Are we effectively in dollar plays? Has he given the market enough for them to say, you know what? I'm cool. Let's load up on cash positions. Because the yields, although they've come down, they've gapped up and they've broken significant areas. And the 10-year itself moved up quite significantly, but it's come down a little bit. But there's a cause for concern with its gap up, okay? Or its move up, to say. Actually, it did actually gap up. What you got here? Smith, what's good? May I ask you, give me an idea about gold. An idea. Okay. What do you buy gold in? Dollars. Dollars going up. Do the math. It's not financial advice, bro. That's common sense. If you need dollars to buy gold and dollars going up, it means they don't want gold. Let's have a look at the vector candles for a split second. I'm going to give you this one. Gold's volatility is a bit of a nut job. In 8 minutes' time, we're going to know if this vector candle is going to hold true. You're going to place your stop and assume that it's going to take them, effectively, 8 minutes to hold price in this area. Okay? That means that inside this zone, we're going to know if they're really going to try and sell off again. There's a green vector candle right there. So just be careful with it. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, you know what the story is. I've got to update my people. But if you are new, check out the Traders Reality website. Everything you need about the hybrid system is there. Remember, it's not a system. It's a way of trading. That way is market makers' behavior. All right? It's been a pleasure sitting through that boring guy's talk. Next time, I'm going to run my own FOMC conversation. I want to ask the questions and see how that bad boy works. Make sure you like and subscribe, gang. It's been a pleasure. Peace.